VC, it's the Zonkman coming at you once again. It's getting close to Halloween. Hopefully everybody's ready to go trick-or-treating. Most of you probably have already done Halloween because now it doesn't matter what day it falls on. We're going to do it whenever we want. Everybody does their little trunk or treat on the weekend. So who knows how many kids will even be out tomorrow. But anyway, this video is not to rant about Halloween. This video is actually for Steve Carlson. Congratulations, Steve. 1,000 subscribers. So, of course, Steve is having a contest. Vinyl Community Steve Carlson. I watch the Sunday show religiously, part of the routine. Enjoy the whole Mr. Rogers, won't you be my subscriber type of thing. Probably the first time I saw it, I was like, I was new to the VC, and I was like, what is up with this? This guy's doing just like Mr. Rogers. And but anyway, that kind of it drew me in. I thought it was funny. Steve, you always show great array of music tastes, go across the board, and doing the needle drops when you can is awesome. Turns me on to a lot of new stuff that probably wouldn't have known about before. And so we're going to do this contest for Steve. He says, show at least 5 of your go-to albums. And, you know, I've watched some people's entries on this, kind of get a feel. Some people wanted it to be something they've listened to for 20 years. Some people didn't want it to be albums that they showed all the time on their videos because they are their favorites, you know. So I said I'm gonna stick with my favorites. My favorites are my favorites. I don't think I've shown at least these, maybe not. I don't even know. Most of these albums, yes, and I am only going to show 5, but they kind of go along in the same lines of watching Steve's channel with turning me on to new music. Because, you know, I mean, that's how we all find out about music. You know, probably very little of us heard this on the radio and then went out seeking it type of thing. Most of the time it was somebody else telling me about it or giving me music or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm going, and I'm going to try to make this short somewhat because Steve is going to have a whole lot of videos to watch. All right, we'll get started. The Zonkman's 5 go-to albums. And I'm going to start off right here. This is showing the CD, Corrosion of Conformity, Deliverance. This CD is the actual CD that I bought from the CD store in 1994. And this particular CD, you know, I was not familiar with Corrosion of Conformity, maybe not fully. You know, I might have heard of them, but never really listened to their music. And I was at the CD store and actually had a listening station, so I was able to sample this. And oh my, right off the bat, I was like, oh yeah, I got to get this. So this was kind of a blind, although I did get to sample it at the store. But this thing is awesome all the way through. Heaven's Not Overflowing, Albatross, Clean My Wounds, Broken Man, Deliverance, Pearls Before Swine. For me, this thing is super solid all the way through. Probably being a young man when I started listening to this, questioning everything, questioning who I am, what is my purpose, who I am as a person. Whole lot of questioning everything on here. With Heaven's Not Overflowing. That's a pretty good track right off the top. Clean My Wounds. Jesus says he cannot heal these kind. I mean, just the lyrics on and on about this. Excellent. And see, you can see what we all hate in the VC when somebody puts, I was putting initials on CDs back then. I don't know if this one's going to show, but I did have my initials on the CD as well. And the back jacket. Corrosion of Conformity, Deliverance, always go to this. Awesome album. Just straight up heavy metal. Oh, these guys are from Raleigh, North Carolina, so it's close. These guys are close. But yeah, it's kind of that heavy metal, but kind of the southern groove edge too, or whatever on that particular album. Always go to that. Next one I'm going to show, everybody's familiar with, and the Zonkman is a Doors fan. This is the Doors' first album. And of course, you know, no-brainer type stuff. Break On Through to the Other Side. Try to block the whole thing. Of course, Light My Fire, and The End. The Zonkman is big on the end. Some of you might not like that particular song. My Only Friend, The End. Great Doors stuff. Break On Through to the Other Side. You know, that's what the Doors of Perception, man. So this has always been a go-to for a long time. And of course, this was the Doors my uncle is the one that had me listen to the Doors, and then you know, that was like mid-'80s. It was not like I was around in '67 to come across the Doors during the Summer of Love or anything like that. I came along much later, but so it was probably like mid-'80s, we'll say. So that means I've probably been listening to this album for about 35 years or something like that. Kind of crazy. But anyway. The Doors, self-titled. Great stuff. The next one, little bit of story on this was, I was given the cassette tape. And the individual, man, I cannot even remember his name. But it was when I was in the military. And I don't even remember like what he said. He listened to more like Depeche Mode, Midnight Oil. There were some other bands in there. He says, this is a little bit harder. He says, I think you'd be into this. He says, I'm not as into this. And this is Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. This is the first Nine Inch Nails record. And I don't believe I have shown the Nine Inch Nails on my channel before. But I am a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. Trent Reznor. But this was my first one, was Pretty Hate Machine. Of course, the song Head Like a Hole. But this album is killer all the way through. Terrible Lie, Down in It, Something I Can Never Have, Kinda I Want To. This is a go-to album, and this is solid all the way through. The first Trent Reznor Nine Inch Nails. Of course, this is a reissue. I think this is a 17. I should have looked at it before, but anyway. Of course, it came out originally in 1989. This is like a 2017 reissue. Oh wait, now Nine Inch. This is probably the only thing I have on vinyl, Nine Inch Nails, but I do have. I won't say everything on CD because I probably don't have everything of anyone. So I guess you wouldn't call the Zonkman a completist or anything like that. But definitely a lot of Nine Inch Nails CDs in the collection. Of course, Wish came out next, so that was real big, kind of follow-up thing. Or the EP, I can't even think of the name of the EP. But Wish was the next song that was big. Of course, big on MTV and stuff like that. Next one, everybody's familiar with, but was also given to me also. And also, I was in the military or whatever. Now, I do remember Carl gave me the CD on this one. He's like, you're more into that stuff like Nirvana and Soundgarden. So here's this Pearl Jam 10. Just kind of wasn't my thing, you know. And he says, when I get back to the States, he says it'll probably be the biggest thing and I'll have to buy it again. That's what he actually told me. But anyway, I got the CD, Pearl Jam 10. I gave it away before actually showing it. This is also a reissue, and this has been reissued a bunch of times. But this is the single LP 2017 reissue. So as far as like audiophile and sound, I think it sounds fine, you know. And I do still have the shrink on there. There's a little glare. I apologize on that. Don't have to talk about this. This is solid all the way through. Once, Even Flow, Alive, Why Go, Black, Jeremy, Oceans, Porch, and one of the best songs, Release, at the end. Solid all the way through. Was given to me kind of like VCLT, but before I knew what VCLT was. And it wasn't actual vinyl CD. But again, just giving the gift of music. Somebody gave me the gift of music, and it turned out to be a go-to. So that's why it's always fun to recommend music for people, you know, and that's part of it, you know. So they didn't even know that they were recommending music for me that I would love for a lifetime. So that's what's great about the world of music. I would say the music is the rhythm of life. This last album is kind of like a newer release go-to, and so it is a newer album, and it's in the Zonkman's line of stoner rock. And the story on this was, I believe it was last year, 2018. Clutch was getting ready to come out with a new album, Book of Bad Decisions. So I was watching YouTube videos on Neil Fallon, basically promoting this new album that's coming out. And, you know, he talks about that album or whatever, and this is not Clutch, Book of Bad Decisions, by the way. But they ask him at the end, she's like, well, what are you listening to? What can't you put down right now? And this is the band that he said, All Them Witches. And it was kind of ironic. These guys are from Nashville, and they are not country whatsoever. And Clutch recorded that album, Book of Bad Decisions, in Nashville. So I don't know if while he was there, maybe he saw these guys play locally or something. I didn't get the whole story on that. But Neil Fallon of Clutch is the one that turned me on to them. And when I went to go listen to All Them Witches, man, I was blown away. This is a self-titled album, but this is their fourth, I believe. Here's the track listing on the back. Very cool. It's just like this splot of paint and watercolor. Another thing that's cool too is the album cover does not have the band name on it. I stuck the sticker on there. This is a 2 LP gatefold. Very cool. This shows 4 band members here. Charles Michael Parks Jr. is vocals, bass. Ben McLeod is electric acoustic guitars. Robbie Stabler is drums, percussion, and loops. And they have gotten rid of the organ player, Jonathan Draper. So there's back to a 3-piece. I did see these guys back in March in Durham, North Carolina. Awesome. Small venue, very personal. Probably maybe only like 200 to 500 people there. It was very cool to see them. And if you want a song, I'm not good at like where to start with anyone, but Diamond is a good song that they do the video. And I'm pretty sure that the drummer, let's say his name again, Robbie Stabler, is the one that does the artwork for the band. So he does some of the artwork, and they like film their own video. So that video Diamond is done. I don't even know how video is done, but it's kind of not bad quality, but it is kind of lower quality than what like a record label would have filming a video that's going on TV or something like that. So they kind of do their own thing. Awesome stuff. I wanted to show this too because I bought the CD to wear this thing out in the car. And what's cool, it is exactly the same. They kind of present this like it is a vinyl record. In fact, when you take the CD out, it has the inner sleeve just like the record. And that's another thing too. I've liked that some people are doing some of this with the CDs too. That even though vinyl is outselling CDs now, that they're still putting a little bit of effort into a few of us that are still buying the CDs. And I've noticed that before too. There was I can't even remember the artist, but there's some where you see like a Columbia 6i on a CD. That's cool. So that's my contest entry or drawing or whatever Steve Carlson was calling it. Vinyl Community Steve Carlson. Thank you. Congratulations on 1,000 subs. Enjoy your channel. Enjoy you mispronouncing a lot of names and band artists and stuff like that, because I do the same thing. Yeah, I'm clueless on how to pronounce people's names. I'm sound it out. Yeah, well, sometimes when letters are silent and you're emphasizing the wrong syllable, it doesn't sound out correctly. But anyway, this went a lot longer than I wanted to. This is my entry for Steve Carlson, Vinyl Community, 5 go-to albums. Thanks, Steve, and everybody out there, have a great day. Have a Halloween. I'm probably going to do a little Halloween thing too. Namaste.